All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is Left Bank Books presents another virtual celebrity story time. Today, we welcome award-winning storyteller Donna L. Washington, who will read aloud and talk about how she made her new picture book, Boo Stew. Left Bank Books is St. Louis's oldest independent bookstore. We would like to thank all of our supporters. We offer curbside pickup and delivery to anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, and we are open to people coming inside the store so you can find this incredible book on our shelves now. We are very happy to be able to bring our event series virtual. We believe that events are a way to expand your mind and bring in new thoughts to make the world a better place. Also, just to have some fun sometimes. We hope that you enjoyed this event, and we hope that you support Left Bank Books by purchasing a copy for you or for all of your friends at left-bank.com. Purchasing a copy of the book from Left Bank Books allows us to keep our bookstore and staff operating, and it allows us to continue bringing you incredible authors like Donna. So thank you so much for your support. I'm Shane Mullen. I'm the events coordinator for Left Bank Books. Be sure to follow Left Bank Books on Facebook and YouTube to be notified about all of our fantastic virtual events. We are doing a regular story time, so you can find out about our story time with Cliff that happens every single week. And for you watching right now, we will be doing an audience Q&A towards the end of the event, so you can type your questions as a comment, and we will get to those at the end. And I will say that we do have an in-person celebrity story time on October 30th. So it is a special Halloween story time with a local author who will be doing story time before the Central West End Halloween parade for the kids. So you can come by, do story time, and then go to the kids parade. It is a perfectly planned day. Now, about today's book, Boo Stew. Award-winning storyteller Donna L. Washington has cooked up a delightfully spooky, fractured fairy tale with a diverse cast of characters and an imaginative twist on the classic Goldilocks. Curlylocks is a good-hearted girl, but she's an awful cook. All the townspeople of Toadsuck Swamp know to steer clear of her culinary concoctions, like the batwing brownies and toad-eye toffees. So when one of her dishes goes missing from her windowsill, word spreads like a kerosene fire about how the scares have been terrorizing the town at mealtime. They shriek, "Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone," and send folk running from their dinner plates. With everyone else tremblin and squawkin about the scares, Curlylocks gets an inklin. Can she use her smarts and unique talents to help corral those scares for good? Internationally known award-winning storyteller Donna L. Washington uses her tremendous skill to breathe new life into the classic Goldilocks tale. Her clever can-do protagonist and joyful language, paired with Jeffrey Ebler's charming, imaginative illustrations, will tempt readers into a ghostly yet enchanting landscape they won't want to leave. Kirkus Reviews says, "This fairy tale style story is a standout pleaser for the right crowd with a year-round shelf life." And now, about our speaker. Donna L. Washington is a professional storyteller, multiple award-winning recording artist, and author. She performs all over the country at festivals, schools, and libraries, and gives workshops for parents and educators as well. Her many storytelling recordings have received Gold and Silver Parents' Choice Awards, Storytelling World Awards, iParenting Awards, Children's Music Web Awards, National Parenting Publications Awards honors, and other awards. She is joining us today from North Carolina. And now, if you all would please help me with a very spooky round of applause, I would like to welcome our fantastic guest for the day, Donna L. Washington. Hello.
Hi, Shane. Wow. Now I'm uncomfortable with all that introducing.
You deserve it. You are internationally known.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to turn this over to you for the story time, and I will be back for a conversation in just a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, good morning if it's morning, and good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast. It is amazing to be here at Left Bank Books, and I am going to share with you Boo Stew. Now, the thing about picture books for me is that they're not meant to be a quiet experience. Picture books are interactive. So there are going to be parts of this story that I'm going to ask you to share with me. For instance, as Shane said, the scares, as you can see, the little creatures, there they are on the front of the book, right? They say, Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. And when we get to that point, I would like you to say that with me. So the first part is Boo and Bon, Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon. And the second part is Goo and Gone, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. You got it? All right. We'll go over it again when we get there. And I always start this book by loving on the end papers. This book, there's Jeffrey Ebler put so many cute things in this book. For instance, we are collecting ingredients, and this one is snail slime. And Hippos Sweat. And my favorite ingredient, belly button lint. Yes, indeed, our heroine is going to use those to cook with. We have a couple more. Here she's collecting boar hair. And my son's favorite ingredient that she gets, gator snot. Now, I am not going to show you all the pictures in this book, even though I will read it to you with permission by Peachtree Publishing. But if you really want to see these pictures, and they are fabulous, you'll have to go find this book at Left Bank Books. There were always scares in Toadsuck Swamp, but Goldilocks didn't pay 'em much mind. The scares kept to themselves. They only woke up at night, and the most annoying thing about 'em was their hooting and hollering, which pretty much meant that almost all night on the swamp they were going, ow! Can you imagine sleeping if all that noise was going on? The only thing Goldilocks truly cared about was cooking. Sadly, the town folk ran the other way when she offered them batwing brownies, cat hair cupcake, or toad eye toffees. Can you imagine eating a cat hair cupcake? It was disappointing. But her mama just said, do what your heart loves. Well, her heart loved to cook. One night, Goldilocks left a pan of lizard skin lasagna cooling on the windowsill. When she returned, the dish was licked clean. She peered out into Toadsuck. Somebody out there likes my cooking. Here is a pan of lizard skin lasagna, and here is a little hand reaching up to grab it. And there's Goldilocks back there, surrounded by inappropriate ingredients. Jeffrey did a great job. The next morning, the mayor was singing to himself as he sat down to breakfast. When an itty-bitty scare opened the window and plopped right into the middle of his pancakes. It waggled its hairy little head. Now, you remember what they say? Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone? Okay, say it with me. Here we go. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. Ah! The mayor lit a blue streak out of that house and nearly knocked down the blacksmith. Whoa there, Mr. Mayor. What's got you so shook? There's an itty-bitty scare a-sitting in the middle of my pancakes. What's one of them critters doing out in the daylight? The blacksmith asked. Who cares? The mayor trembled. I just want it out of my kitchen. The blacksmith laughed. I'll knock that itty-bitty scare into next Tuesday. I wouldn't go in there if I was you, the mayor whispered. Well, you ain't me. The blacksmith stuck out his chest and strutted into the mayor's house. The itty bitty scare was sitting in the middle of a big old mess on the mayor's table. The blacksmith was getting ready to snatch that critter up by his ear when he felt a tap, tap, tapping on his shoulder. Here we go. Say it with me. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. The blacksmith cut out of that house and ran smack dab into the chicken rancher. The chicken rancher is my favorite character. Why y'all making such a fuss over one little scare? Asked the chicken rancher. Because it's in my kitchen, the mayor snapped. 2 scares, stammered the blacksmith. The second is bigger than the first. Bah, said the chicken rancher. All they ever do is hoot and holler. Don't you fret none. I'll handle it. And that's that chicken rancher. Look at that. That guy with the beaky nose. Yes, indeed. I wouldn't go in there if I was you, warned the blacksmith. Well, you ain't me. The chicken rancher lifted his chin and swaggered into the mayor's house. Lickety-split, that chicken rancher snatched the itty-bitty scare by a tuft of hair and lassoed the other with his rope. You scares don't scare me, he roared. The house started shaking. The rancher's knees started quaking. Thump, thump, womp, thump, thump, womp. Aha, look at this thing. Say it with me, here we go. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. The chicken rancher nearly flew out of that house. There's 3 of them, he hollered. The last one's huge. Stories about the scares spread like a kerosene fire. Goldilocks was heading into town when she saw folks running through the streets. Where y'all going? She yelled. There's scares wrecking the mayor's kitchen, the dressmaker hollered back. Goldilocks remembered the lizard skin lasagna that was licked clean from her windowsill. She thought. I bet nobody's tried cooking for 'em. I better get over there right away. A frightful din was coming out of the mayor's house when Goldilocks arrived. Okay, now the term a frightful din, that means a lot of noise. Easy there, little lady, the mayor called. There's 3 scares in there, the blacksmith added. I hear 'em, Goldilocks replied. I'm going to make 'em something to eat. Bless your heart, said the innkeeper. That don't sound like a good idea. Maybe it is, the barber exclaimed. Her cooking could drive anything away. Goldilocks walked up the front steps. I wouldn't go in there if I was you, yelled the chicken rancher. Well, you ain't me. And with that, Goldilocks clutched her basket, squared her shoulders, and marched into the house. This is my favorite picture of little Goldilocks. It's on the wrong page. There she is. She is one determined girl. I love it. All right, well, let's see what's going to happen. The door shut behind her, and the scares got quiet. Goldilocks peeked into the kitchen. It was a frightful mess. She put her big-bellied pot on the pot-bellied stove, took out possum grease and toadstools, and set to work. The cupboard burst open, and an itty-bitty scare jumped out. You remember what they say? Say it with me. Here we go. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. Goldilocks didn't bat an eye. I'll go if you like, but if I do, you'll never get a taste of my famous Boo Stew. Boo Stew? Ooh. The itty-bitty scare sat down at the table and banged his bowl and spoon together. Said Goldilocks. First, we clean off the table, then we wash our hands. Goldilocks was adding powdered beetle and lizard spit to the pot when she felt a tap, tap, tapping on her shoulder. Here we go. It's the second one. A little louder. Here we go. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Boo, Gitchey Gone. Goldilocks stiffened, but didn't let on that she was startled. I'll go if you like, but if I do, you'll never get a taste of my famous Boo Stew. Boo Stew? Ooh. The middling scare clapped his scaly hands. Clean the floor first, said Goldilocks, then set the table. Goldilocks added moose ear broth, toenail clippings, and gnat juice. How many gnats do you think you'd have to collect before you had gnat juice? Thump, thump, womp, thump, thump, womp. The biggest, thumpiest, wompiest scare of all came a gnashing his scared teeth, a waggling his scare claws, and a clomping his scare feet. One last time, really loud, here we go. Gitchey Boo, Gitchey Bon, Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. Goldilocks gripped her spoon so tight it nearly snapped in two. I'll go if you like, but if I do, you'll never get a taste of my famous Boo Stew. Boo Stew? Ooh. That big scare licked his jowls in anticipation. Clean the ceiling, please. By the time the kitchen was put right, the stew was piping hot and ready to eat. Goldilocks took a taste and smiled. I hope y'all are hungry, 'cause this might just be the best batch of Boo Stew east of the Mississippi. Those scares ate until they were full as ticks in high summer. They licked their fingers. They licked their toes. They licked each other's toes. Goldilocks didn't mind their sorry manners. Why, she'd never seen a single soul enjoy her cooking so. Carry yourselves on back to Toadsuck Swamp, cooed Goldilocks, and I'll make Boo Stew and lots of other things for you and your friends every night. Some say that was the finest deal ever struck in those parts. The scares got themselves a heap of delicious food. With their bellies full, they didn't spend all night hooting and hollering. The townsfolk got plenty of sleep now that Toadsuck was quiet. The mayor got a fine tale to tell for years to come. And Goldilocks? She got a load of hearty eaters who appreciated her cooking. That was the best thing of all. And here she is at the end of the book, cooking up a storm, and you can see there's a giant hand up there with a bowl and all kinds of creatures, and you can see her house is even sitting on one of them, and he's got a bowl full of something too. And that is how we end Boo Stew.
Oh, thank you so much. Gosh, you were so, I mean, I don't need to tell you, your words say it. Like, you were so good. You were so good. We had several people playing along. I know my friend Ruth typing up Gitchey Goo, Gitchey Gone. Yeah. All right, so I want to just talk to you about the book. I want to ask you, like, first off, very important, are you a fantastic cook?
Yes. I'm gluten-free. I had to go gluten-free about 5 years ago when I found out that gluten was causing all sorts of inflammation and crazy stuff. And so I have had to learn how to recook everything I really love without gluten. And my husband, who doesn't have to be gluten-free, loves everything I cook, as do my children. And I often cook for parties. So
I think I'm kind of a little bit like Goldilocks in my... It always turns out good, or at least some people love it, which is the important part.
Yes.
But I definitely made a chicken noodle soup on Thursday that ended up being like, I mean, it encompassed 2 entire pots. Like it went from one pot, and then I was like, oh, there's not enough room for everything. So I have chicken noodle soup that will like feed basically my entire neighborhood at this point.
Like days.
Yeah. So I'm very inspired by Goldilocks' like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
See what happens. Yeah.
what is your favorite holiday tradition?
Oh my goodness.
And it doesn't have to be Halloween related because you have books about other holidays as well.
I do. Gosh. All right. So my husband is Jewish. And so I was raised Catholic. So we do a lot of holidays because we do things from both sides of our family. And our best things are holiday meals, our traditions where we spend days and days, days and days cooking. But I have favorite holiday moments. My son is born on Halloween. He's a Halloween baby. So Halloween's always a big deal in our family. And my kids were not big candy eaters. They would much rather play at Halloween. So I always dress up as a witch. I go completely green like Elphaba. And I have a witch outfits. I have a giant hat. I did Wrinkle in Time when I was at university, and I stole the broom because I was Mrs. Witch. So I have this giant broom. And I come to that's how I hand out candy. My kids always decorate the yard. But one year, my daughter chained herself to the tree in the front yard. And she wore an orange jumpsuit and her hair was wild and she was cackling. And my son was walking through the yard all in black with a scythe. And it took a bit for people to convince their kids to come up and get candy from the witch at the front door. So our favorite holidays, our favorite traditions are when we all are doing something together.
One time my uncle had a giant pile of leaves next to his front door, and he hid in that pile of leaves and jumped out at every single kid. I have never been more scared in my life. Because of course he was in full like costume as well.
Right.
Like I think he was wearing some sort of like scary mask or something. Yeah. Oh, I was easily frightened, still am, as an adult and a child.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
I'm curious, do hippos sweat? Do you know?
Yes, they do. In fact, their sweat is red.
Really?
Yes. It's I don't know what kind of compounds in it, but it's to protect their skin, right? So they sweat, their sweat is red. And so historically, when Europeans first saw them, they thought they sweated blood because their sweat is red. They're also incredibly dangerous. Hippos are one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. So if you see them, they look, like we put them in ballerina shoes and we tap dance them all around, but they're quite dangerous. And they sweat red.
I always thought, I am assuming that I've seen a picture of a hippo that was red, and I thought it was mud that they were covered in. So I thought it was like a red mud.
Well, they might roll in red mud. I don't know, but they do sweat red.
Very interesting. Thank you for knowing that, because I did not expect that kind of answer. That's fantastic.
I love animals.
Yeah, me too. It is a Halloween tradition in St. Louis, and I'm certain that everyone watching in St. Louis will know exactly what I'm about to say. So, in St. Louis, we not only go trick-or-treating, but we have Halloween jokes. So everyone tells their favorite Halloween joke as part of their trick-or-treat. And I have a joke prepared for you, and I'm hoping that you have one as well. So I'm going to ask you, where did it go? What's a ghost's favorite dessert?
I don't know. What is a ghost's favorite dessert?
Blueberry ice cream.
My daughter and my husband love puns. I'm going to tell them that one. All right. Well, fair enough. I've got one for you.
Fantastic.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Why do ghosts like elevators?
Why?
It lifts their spirits.
I hope that someone watching uses that as their Halloween joke, because that one makes me so happy.
It's a grinny kind of joke,
So good. What? Wow. Okay, that I think I went through all my questions. Do we have any from the audience? Sarah says hi, which is exciting. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Ruth, as well. Yeah, I'm so thankful that you were able to join us this morning and do this story time. This is one of my favorite events that I get to do is celebrity story time because it's always such a pleasure to hear an author talk about their story and to share their incredible picture book. I love it.
Well, a really quick shout out to my kids because I didn't make this story by myself. In fact, I dedicate this book to my co-authors. My son Devin, who is a picky eater, but he would eat peanut butter and turkey sandwiches. And my daughter Dareth, who will gamely try anything. So we made up this story together when they were 7 and 4 at the breakfast table. Because my son won't eat anything. And my daughter was trying to feed him scrambled eggs. And he was like, they taste like worm sandwiches. And she was like, have you eaten a worm sandwich? He said, no. And then we started talking about like who would make such food. And then little by little, the story came together. And I told it for a good decade before it turned into that book.
Wow. So then how did you, like, were you just finally like, hey, publisher, I've got this story. Like, give me a book.
I was somewhere telling it, and a buddy of mine, Carmen Didi, actually, who was an amazing picture book author, saw it and said, have you considered turning that into a picture book? And I was like, nah, not really. And she said, you should think about it. So I wrote it down, sent it out to my agent, and she sent it to Peachtree Publishers and a number of publishers. And Peachtree said, we'll buy it. And then it sat over there for a number of years while they were looking for an illustrator. And then when they found that, then I had to agree on the illustrator, and then the illustrator had to illustrate the book. It's a process. But yeah, and the thing about the illustrator is they don't want the writer and the illustrator to meet.
I know.
Right. So
it's so bizarre to me.
Well, because they want the illustrator to have authentic feelings about what they do. And then later, when I get the pictures back, if I really don't like them or we have an issue, then we talk. But I don't talk to them. They keep it in intermediary. I didn't talk to Jeffrey until the book was finished. So actually, I want to tell you about one of these. This is the story of Kwanzaa, which is probably the oldest book I have out. The illustrator, Stephen Taylor, was so excited to put spears and weaponry in this book, even though Kwanzaa is a festival about family and joy. And so I fought him about all of them, and he took almost all the spears out. And then at the very end, I realized that he had stuck 2 spears on top of the little guys at the very end.
Oh.
But that's okay, because they're statues and they're part of some celebration. And then there's this one, which came out at, I don't know, what is it now, 11 years ago, feels like? Gosh. Little Rabbit's Kwanzaa. So if you know nothing about Kwanzaa and you just want to read a book that happens at Kwanzaa time, this is the book for you, because it's fun, it's interactive, just like Boo Stew is interactive. I really believe picture books, like I said, they're for playing with. So you can give character voice opportunities and sound effects, all the same thing that you find in Boo Stew, which I highly recommend you get because it's hot off the presses. Yeah. All of those things are incorporated into the picture books that I write because I think that's really important. And I loved playing with picture books as a kid, and I loved reading them like that to my children when they were growing up.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite activities is reading to my nieces and nephews because, like, any voice I use is entertaining to them. Yeah. So I can go absolutely wild and have a good time myself, and they are going to enjoy it almost no matter what. So.
Yeah, well, you see, I don't hold back at all.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I will treasure this for so long. This was so much fun. And I'm going to tell all of my friends that missed today's event to come back and watch this. If you were watching and thought this was absolutely the best thing you've ever seen, like I do, tell your friends. This video is now available to share, so you can have your friends watch this too. And I will share the link again for how you can get yourself a copy of Boo Stew from Left Bank Books. And you can come into the store, you can find it and buy it there. You can order online, and we will ship it to anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure getting to meet you. I hope that the next time you are in St. Louis, we will be able to do an in-person event with you. I cannot wait for that day, so let me know when we can make that happen.
All right. Next time in Missouri, I'm there.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Jade.
All right.
Bye, everyone.